Hi there folks, my name's NovaWrap and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday the 21st of October 2018 for another exciting episode, and we're going to jump straight into it this week with some X-Plane releases. And hot off the presses this week we have the guys over at Take Command releasing their Hot Start TBM 900. So this is I just love this aeroplane, just straight up. I just love, pretty much I love anything that's powered by a PT6. Like, I'll just be honest here, just have a soft spot for me. Anyway, so the Hot Start team is essentially they're a new developer per se, but they have behind them names that do that know the Better Pushback and Take Command Sub 340A. So these guys are very experienced with what they do. And they've brought to us a very highly realistic rendition of the TBM 900. Now, they've come through, they've done a full modeling of the 3D model both internally and externally, and they've gone through a very highly detailed rendition of the systems and avionics systems within the aircraft. Everything from tire pressures all the way through to engine startup sequence, synthetic vision system, G1000, the whole 9 yards, everything is there, including the TORS B work as well, which is, I know that can be a challenge sometimes as well. So really huge role there. A lot of effort's gone into the aerodynamics as well to make sure that it performs as closely as possible to the flight dynamics of the real aeroplane as well. But what I found was really interesting with these guys is they've also done what is becoming increasingly common. I mean, we talk about A2A sort of doing groundbreaking things, and it's interesting to see that the legacy is still having an impact on other simulators as well, even years later after their AccuFeel technology sort of first came out. And there were those of the guys over at Hot Start have actually really tried to do. They've actually really tried to get the personality and the quirks of an aeroplane going. So they've gone through, they've got the real-time modeling of engine temperatures, oil temperatures, battery life as well. So, you know, depending on how you leave the aircraft, it will remember the state of every switch. So when you jump back into the aircraft, it will remember how you left it and how it would have time when the conditions it was sitting out in would have actually affected it, which is really interesting. It also gives you some little personality quirks of the aircraft as well. So sometimes randomly the engine might take a little bit longer to start up, or the battery might be a little bit low for some unknown reason. So yeah, it's very interesting how they're doing that. Something else that's interesting as well is that they've really designed, this is the first add-on that I've seen. Now, there may be others out there, I'm not sure, but this is the first one that's really pushing itself that it is designed and optimized for multi-core computers. So for all the flight sims out there, one of the issues that we've all known for many years is that many of our flight sims that get bottlenecked by the CPU. It's never the graphics. It's very rarely the graphics cards that are issues. It's usually the CPU that are the barrier for our performance. Now this one is designed. This add-on is actually designed to actually leverage and sort of take the weight off the core flight sim engine and CPU usage there, and actually sort of throw it out to the other CPU threads that you have available. So I don't know what kind of dark magic that the programmers have actually done to do this, but they've done it apparently, and it seems to be going quite well as well. So just ticking through some of the features that we've gone through as well. As I said, full aircraft state persistence, so switch flight control position, fuel state, airport positions, blah blah blah. They're all of course going to be remembered. Flight model designed to be within a few percent of the real aircraft's flight envelope, including the maximum minimum speeds, stall behaviors, fuel burn, trim behavior, and control feel as well, as much as you can without a force feedback on the stick. You've got the avionics system is highly detailed, including all the major systems, including a G1000 avionics stack customs for the TBM 900, includes its special extensions and overlays. An ECAS system has been modeled. Synthetic vision has been integrated into the primary flight display, as well as a full integration with live charts back to the FAA and autorouter.aero. They have announced as well that they will be integrating into the NovaWrap database as well. That will be coming in a future update, so it is not available at launch. Also does a highly accurate PT6 engine model simulation, including realistic startup behavior and operating behavior, including the engine lag, secondary fuel flow, ITT evolution, and response to auxiliary load, as well as custom prop governors, crew alerting system integration to the avionics stacks, and a whole slew of stuff that I'm not going to get into here as well. So yes, there is a lot going on in this model, and it looks absolutely beautiful as well. There's a lot of eye candy going on in this kit as well. So if you do want to pick this one up, this one's available from the X Aviation store, coming in at $65 US, or your regional equivalent, available now. In another aircraft release for the X-Plane world, we saw the release from Flying Iron as the P-47N Thunderbolts. So the P-47, the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt was the sort of the I always compare it to the Hawker Hurricane of the U.S. Air Forces during the Second World War. It's sort of like the unsung hero. It was mass-produced. It was a hard worker. It was air-to-air combat. It did air-ground combat, air-to-ground combat. It did long range, short range, you name it, it did it. But it wasn't. It was ugly as sin, and it was just really it just wasn't glamorized like the P-51 is. And the reason I use the analogy is that in the Royal Air Force and Commonwealth forces, that was very much the role of the Hurricane. Everybody, glamorizes and idolizes and thinks the Superman Spitfire is sexy. And don't get me wrong, it is. But it was the Hurricane, the Hawker Hurricane, that did a lot of the work and became the true workhorse of the Second World War. And it's sort of forgotten because it was just not that pretty. But anyway, so the P-47 Thunderbolt was pretty much the same thing here. Now the P-47N November model that's actually used in this add-on. This was the ultimate and final version of the P-47 that was ever actually released. So it was manufactured. So thousands of them were manufactured during the Second World War, and the P-47N was manufactured from late 1944 through until the last one coming off the production line on October to 1945. So it saw service, but it saw less service. It was designed. It had a wet wing, which was the only model of the P-47 to actually have integrated fuel tanks in the wing, as well as the drop ability to have the drop tanks and the fuselage tanks as well. It was designed for high altitude air combat primarily, and to escort B-29 Super Fortresses all the way to Japan and back. So, which of course is one of the big issues with bombers during the Second World War, is being able to have escorts to have with them the whole way there and back. So with this one, it comes with a very high definition 3D model, both internally and externally, as well as beautiful 4K resolution PBR textures that are included to make full use of the PBR lighting technology in X-Plane 11. You've got 4 authentic liveries are included with this one, as well as professional paint kit. Full set of internal and exterior lighting has been modeled as well. A full model of the flight model has been done, as well as accurate as can be done. It has been currently, it was tested and tuned using real life test data. So whether that means the developers took it up for test flight, I'm not sure, or just simply off test recordings. The engine simulation for the double wasp radial engine has been overhauled as well, and done a beautiful detailed custom simulation of that. Was a full set of authentic custom sounds from a model of a actual P-47, and a double wasp radial engine included as well. Whole interesting set of systems in here, because there was a couple of interesting systems that came in. As I said, it was the late end of the Second World War, so it actually had a few fairly unique things in there that that didn't feature across other P-47s, including, I believe, one of the earliest uses of a rear warning radar receiver, which is really interesting. So that is modeled in here as well as a fully functional K-14 gun sight, VHF radio, realistic fuel systems behavior, a homing adapter ADF, homing navigation system, and a very early, very quirky General Electric automatic pilot is included as well as there as well. If for those who do want a little bit of a cheat though, it does have a pop-out Garmin G430, the default G430 GPS is included, hidden away there if you so desire as well. If you are wanting to pick this one up, add it to your Warbird collection, you can pick this one up from the Xplane.org store, coming in at $35 US, or your original equivalent, available now. And in probably the biggest news release for the flight simulation world, for the X-Plane scenery world anyway, this last week, was the release of Orbix's True Earth Great Britain South. Now, this monster of a release was first sort of shown off and unveiled at Flight Sim Expo not that long ago, and sort of hinted at and sort of about the size of it. But this thing is insanely huge. Like, it's just insane. The amount of, I believe it's clocking in about 120 gig of hard drive space or something stupid like that. Like, it's insane. It's about a 30 gig download, and it's just an insane size. It's just can't get over it. But it is a beautiful rendition of the south of the United Kingdom in a full photoreal and just beautifully overdone. So over 42,000 square miles of hand-corrected, crisp, color-matched aerial imagery have been included with this one. They've got implemented custom brand new autogen technology specifically for X-Plane 11 and specifically for this region to give UK-themed buildings have been put in, along with over 13 million of buildings have been hand-placed to match the photoreal scenery as well, including several VFR landmarks such as masts, wind farms, churches, power lines, and lighthouses, all accurately placed. Hundreds of custom model points of interest included, such as the London stadiums, the London Eye, and the various other places around the southern parts of the United Kingdom are there. It's just so much stuff going on here. One of the cool, interesting things that's in here as well is that they've actually switched the roads over. So one of the things that bugged me about X-Plane, not going to lie about this, and not going to lie about the ESP platforms as well, is that because they're developed by Americans, all of the world drives on the right-hand side. Not all of the world does drive on the right-hand side. Places like the United Kingdom and Australia, we drive on the left. So it's interesting that actually part of this is they've actually gone through and actually redone the... I don't know how they've done it, but they've got moving left-hand drive traffic for all the roads in X-Plane 11 now. For the UK. That's really cool. Just FYI, that's cool. Also includes a 10-meter terrain mesh for the United Kingdom as well, so we can bring out the beautiful crisp hills of Wales, which you can jet around in your Just Flight Hawk as well. Now, this is a couple of things to be aware of. This is for summer season only. It does not include any of the other seasons. It is for high summer only, so just be aware of that. And as I said, it is a monster of a download. Now, a couple of other notes to have here as well. At the moment, it is recommended by Orbix to actually download it via FTX Central, and FTX Central is only compatible with Windows. They will be releasing an installer cross-platform for Mac OS and for Linux within a week, which by the time you're watching this episode should mean it should be within a couple of days. Now, if you do have trouble downloading it via the FTX Central, you can download directly from the website. Once you've purchased it, you can go in and have a look. So just be aware of that. Otherwise, if you want to pick this one up, this one's coming in at 55 Australian dollars, or your regional equivalent, available now from Orbix Direct. Moving out of the full X-Plane 11 world, moving into the ESP platform, starting with a prepared V4 release. Now, this is from a company called AeroG, and they have rebooted their rendition of their artistic concept rendition of the UV4E VTOL. Now, long-time viewers of my channel may recall that this was actually released. This has been released in several iterations over the past few years. Both originally as a very low fidelity freeware model, and then as a reasonably medium fidelity release for FSX Pen Prepared V3 and for X-Plane 11 about a year or so ago, and then now it's been available. It's been completely rebooted, redesigned, and released for a Prepared V4. Now, what this is a concept design aircraft. So this was actually stemmed from a STEM research project. So there's a lot of science and engineering has actually gone into this. It looks very futuristic and very space age, but it's actually designed to sort of fulfill sort of like a cargo carrying idea of being able to release cargo. Ferry cargo fairly economically between destinations using automated systems. Now, this is designed and produced by a company called AeroG. Now, AeroG is a company that is actually designing and working on actually bringing projects like this one and another one, which is designed to have, which is a passenger VTOL aircraft, also electric powered, to actually fruition and actually bring them to life. So part of this is a technological sort of simulation, technological demonstrator. Part of it is a bit of a sort of a public relations campaign. Part of it is a bit of a funny, honestly, probably from the sense of things, a fundraiser for the actual their real project of their AG4 to actually life, which is the manned, sort of like a manned version with passengers. So it's an interesting concept. As I said, it's interesting that they've now rebooted it again. AeroG have sent me a review copy, so I will be publishing a review of this one very shortly. Now, if you are wanting to pick this one up, there are a couple of interesting stories about this one. So this one's available for coming in at $10 US from your favorite flight sim retailer. Now, if you are a previous owner of the payware version for FSX and Prepared V3. If you're a previous owner of that one, you are eligible for an upgrade discount if you purchase your original title through Sim Market. If you purchase it, however, through FS Pilot Shop, then unfortunately there is no discount to purchase the updated version. So I'm not sure what that says about FS Pilot Shop, but yes, so for those who, so if you're a new user, as I said, looking around about $10. If you're an existing user and you purchase the old version from Sim Market, you can get an upgrade cost for a heavily reduced cost over at Sim Market. So this one's available now. In other ESP simulation release news for this week, moving into actually all of the platforms, the guys over at Sky Simulations have rebooted their rendition of the MD-11. So the famous one of the most famous tri-jets, sort of like the successor of the DC-10. Now, this one is, as I said, it is version 2, so it is a reboot of the design, but it is a massive overhaul of their aircraft. Like, it is, they've ripped it apart, they've redesigning it from the ground up and completely giving us a brand new aircraft. And what I love about this is that these guys aren't using the excuse, a cop-out excuse of Prepared V4 being so different to actually sort of rip everybody off. This upgrade with all of the upgraded features, including all of the upgrade textures, the upgraded flight dynamics, the upgraded flexible wings, the wing flex, new engines, new engine dynamics, new engine sounds, new fuselage, new 3D modeling internally and externally, new gear modeling, cargo bays, everything that's come through, all of the upgrades you get it no matter what your sim. So good on you, Sky Simulations. Good for you guys for supporting everybody in their flight simulation passions. So as I said, this one's available for the whole range of the ESP platform range. As I said, and as I just went through that list, everything's been overhauled from the ground up. They've done, especially overhauled all of the flight dynamics, all of the instrumentation, and all the flight's avionics systems have been overhauled as well as new engine sounds and updated sound systems as well. It now has a fully functional FMS and an updated fuel modeling system as well. So there's a lot of work has gone into this update. So the update price is fairly high. So for new users, you are looking at coming in about $50 for this one, the original equivalent. For upgrade users, you're looking at coming in at around about $35-40 for the upgrade. So if you do want to pick this one up, but otherwise, as I said, like from looking at this one, it looks amazing. The detail systems are pretty amazing as well that they've gone through here, and definitely very pleased to see that these guys have actually sort of gone through and supported all systems as well. So there you go. As I said, if you want to pick this one up, available now from Sim Market or from the Sim Market store, coming in, as I said, for brand new users, coming in at $50 or your original equivalent, available now. And another one of those FSX Steam Edition releases this week, we saw the guys over at Carinado bring the guys over at Carinado bringing their Beechcraft C90B King Air to the FSX Steam Edition platform this week. So, of course, this one has been around for a number of years, available from your favorite flight sim retailer and available from Carinado themselves. But they've now brought it across exclusively onto the FSX Steam Edition platform. So as I said, I'm not really going to go through here because as I said, it's nothing really new per se. It's just giving you just have an opportunity to buy one here. But as I always say for users of FSX Steam Edition, if you are even remotely contemplating that you may be porting yourself over, or maybe wanting to dabble in another platform as well as FSX Steam Edition, then you may want to consider purchasing this one directly from another retailer, a normal long-time retailer, instead of via Steam Edition. But if you do pick it up via FSX Steam Edition, it is significantly cheaper. You are looking about saving around about $10 $10 to $15 to actually saving here if you do want to pick this one up on Steam. So if it is a Steam Edition exclusive price for $25 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. Moving, still sticking with ESP platform releases, but moving to ground level as we go through some scenery releases for the week. So the guys over at a Golden Retriever Pilot Design. I have never heard of these guys before, straight up, not going to lie to you, so not sure what other products they've got, but they have done their rendition of La Florida Airport, which is a Pacific coastal city in Chile. So, look, this is a multi-platform release, so it's really good supporting all of the ESP platforms, FSX, FSX Steam Edition, and Prepared in all its variety of guises. And it's come out looking so fairly basic. It looks like it is simply coming out as just the airport. Now, the airport's looking pretty good with the custom airport buildings. The night lighting is looking pretty impressive, though, for a Prepared V4, which is always nice to see. So a lot of work's been done into that one. Otherwise, there doesn't really seem to be much modelling of the external or sort of like the surrounding area of the town. Just simply the airport itself. Apparently, its unique notion of it is the fact that it is one of the few Chilean airports with an east-west runway. Most runways are north-south in Chile due to the ongoing winds. So that's interesting. But anyway. But yes, if as I said though, it is fairly affordable though, considering that you get an updated rendition of the terminal as it appears in 2018. There are no terminal. So the jetways. This is all sort of not really jetways at this airport. Sort of you get out and walk, so none of the SODE stuff is there. The buildings look quite accurate. The tarmac markings look beautiful as well. And then for the price, not too bad, not too bad. So it's coming in at $10 US or the original equivalent, available now from Sim Market. In another scenery release for this one's actually of great interest to me, actually, because I will be going to this area in a few weeks' time. So this is the guys over at King Sceneries have rebooted their Cancun and Riviera Maya Mexico Mega Scenery Pack, and they have rebooted it for Prepared. So previously this was for FSX. And this add-on contains 9 airports, 1 aircraft carrier, and 1 heliport. Not really sure about the aircraft carrier though. I'm assuming that's a default one. It's sort of like it doesn't really sort of show a lot on here, so not really sure what that's going. But I'm assuming it's sort of just the one that's sort of like the default one out of the sim, but it may or may not be. I'm not sure. Anyway, because there's no real information about it. It just sort of says USS Enterprise aircraft carrier with AR traffic. I'm like, okay, unusual. But anyway, moving on. Otherwise, this is, as I said, this is a rendition of nine airports and a heliport, including the whole island of Cozumel, the Cancun International Airport and area, along with a variety of bush strips and sort of bush and regional remote strips as well throughout the Yucatan Peninsula. As I said, it's going to be very interesting for me because I'm actually going to be flying. I'm heading off to Cozumel in a few weeks, as I'm going to be heading off to hopefully tackle my first Ironman distance triathlon. So that's going to be it's a very terrifying event, and I'm going to get very intimate with the airport at Cozumel during that time. So as I said, overall, this is looking pretty good, pretty interesting. Again, one of those add-ons that have primarily focused on the airports themselves and not the surrounding region. It doesn't seem to do a lot in terms of photoreal of the surrounding area or focus too much on towns. The resort areas of Cancun and Cozumel seem to be done in reasonable detail though, and so we've got a variety of airports for the region, and there's a heliport in there as well. So there's a lot of stuff for you to explore, and coming in for the price, you've got to admit, for the price, it's not that bad. You get a lot of bang for your buck for this one. So you're looking at a price of around about 20, just under $20 US coming through this one. Now, if you are a previous owner of the FSX version of this, then you can pick this one up for less than $10 US. You can upgrade to the one for Prepared V1 through 4. So pretty interesting set through here. Custom runway objects, custom airport objects, and high detailed buildings for all of the airports, as well as a variety of custom terrain mesh for most of the region as well. So pretty interesting. I can give a report on how it looks compared to real life in a few weeks, so we'll see how we go. But if I want to put this one up, as I said, coming in around about $20 US, available now on Sim Market. And the next thing to release for the ESP platforms, the guys over at Vidan Design have released their rendition of Aalborg X. So Aalborg is Denmark's third largest airport, and just in the Jutland region of Denmark. This is a dual-use, just both civilian and military airport, so provides a lot of civilian traffic going through to Copenhagen, as well as international to Oslo, Amsterdam, and the Faroe Islands, and of course on to Barcelona and London as well. So quite a few of the sort of low-cost carriers operate out of here. It's also home to several Danish squadrons, including the 721 Squadron, which is the air transport wing, with C-130 Hercules, and has a beautiful Gate Guardian of an F-104 Starfighter. There is also, I believe, some fighter operations do sort of have detachments out here as well. So with this rendition, you get a highly detailed rendition of the Aalborg Airport and Aalborg Air Base. So you get both sides of the airfield, and as it appears at the middle of 2018. Highly detailed airport terminal, including realistic HD textures for both the buildings and for the custom ground work as well. Custom ground modeling and ground support vehicles have been included. Ground textures and photoreal scenery for 30 centimeter per pixel resolution for the surrounding area, as well as highly detailed models of static civilian and military aircraft for the surrounding areas, as well as animated ground and military vehicles for the surrounding area, as designed to work with Orbix's global base as well. So, and this one is also another one of devices that is one of those sceneries which is also compatible with all ESP platforms. F6, F16 edition, and Prepared V3 and 4 are all compatibly or included with this one. So if you want to pick this one up, it's available direct from Vidun Designs, coming in at about $25 US, or your original equivalent, available now. Moving out of the flight simulation world and moving into the world of the permanent way. So Railway Empire has come out with their latest piece of DLC this week with their Crossing the Andes. So this is a map expansion into the South America region, which is available in both free game and sandbox modes, along with 3 new scenarios covering the early history of railway and railway creation through the Andes Mountains. You also get 10 new goods to be able to do, as well as 34 new cities to explore and discover and connect, as well as 2 new engines, including the Kitson, Maya, and the Garrett, as well as being able to implement a full night mode has been implemented across the entire game as well. So I hope that last bit is not just exclusive to the DLC. I hope that actually gets updated to the core game as well. If you are wanting to pick this add-on up, this is add-ons coming in at normally $8 US, coming in at a launch special of $7 US at the moment, available now on Steam. In one of the more interesting simulation releases that I've seen in a while, this is a simulation called Ride Op, Thrill Ride Simulator. Now, when I first saw this, I just thought this was basically like a whatever it was, like Planet Coaster knockoff, and I'm like, okay, all right, just another one. But it's like, no, it's a bit more fine-grained than that. You are literally a ride operator. That's it. So it models a ride. Well, actually models a couple of rides, to be fair. And it gives you a couple of rides to do, and you can go through, so you get, and depending on whether you get the main version or we get the enhanced edition, deluxe edition, you get an extra ride with the deluxe edition. And you go through, you board passengers, you make sure that they're all secure and safe, and then you operate the ride at various intensities and speeds, whatever. But you've also got to monitor but it has a physics, custom physics engine. You also have to monitor weather as well, the weather conditions, to be able to do that, and see what happens and what affects the forces that your passengers experience will do to their bodily fluids. So I can see this being a streamer's delight in some ways. Otherwise, I think I'm not quite sure how I feel about this game. You get 3 main game modes with this one. You get sandbox, challenge, and ride customizations. Two game modes. Sandbox and challenge. So basically, basic sandbox mode and a challenge mode where you've got to do things within certain time periods. You can also go through and actually change various parts of your rides, including mostly just visual appearances, though. Now, what's interesting as well is this also come out with a day 1 DLC. So you've got a couple of different options to buy this one. You can buy the base game, which is it's a Ride Op. You buy the Ride Op Deluxe Edition, which includes an additional ride and allows you to change the music as well. And the Deluxe Edition also includes the DLC pack, which is available separately as well. So the DLC pack includes I think it's 2 new rides, Air Race and Insanity, as well as that's about it. Actually, some cosmetic customization. So, not quite sure what to think about this one. I guess if you get it, guys, let me know in the comments down below, because I'm not sure what to make of this. I really don't. Like the theme park simulator thing I can get. This one's a little weird. But anyway, so yes, if I would pick this one up, prices start from $20 US for the base version, going up to $25 for the deluxe edition bundle, available now on Steam. And rounding out the simulation release news for this week, the guys over at Blacksmith Studios have released their latest VR adventure sort of simulation called Desolate Sands. So this is a simulation adventure puzzle game where your aircraft has crashed in the deserts in the 1940s. and you actually sort of crash next to a tomb in Egypt, and you have to explore it. So it's very much sort of like a bit of like historical architect, sort of adventure simulator. So I almost didn't include it, but it just tickled it just intrigues me. It requires VR though, so unfortunately I will not be able to experience it at the moment. But it looks interesting with these kind of puzzle adventure sort of style things, and it sort of seems a bit interesting where it's sort of hinting at the idea that there's a story and a mystery behind there, and looks kind of cool. So, yes, if you ever wanted to simulate being a bit of an archaeologist and a bit of an adventure, this could be the simulation for you. Coming in at $10 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that now wraps up the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.